What does it mean for God to make a covenant with man?
It's interesting that in the English, we translate that always God made a covenant, right? But in the Hebrew, and we translate it differently because it doesn't make sense to our modern ears. In the Hebrew, the word there for make is karat, and it literally means to cut, right? So God cuts a covenant. And you see in Genesis 15:6, when God makes a covenant with Abraham, he has him cut up these carcasses, create a path, separate their carcasses, and then he walks between them as a way of saying, I'll lay down my life before I violate my promise. In other words, I will be cut off before I give up on the promises. And in Isaiah 53, when it talks about Jesus who will come to fulfill the promise, who will lay down his life, it refers to him as being cut off from the land of the living. And so anytime you see in the Old Testament a covenant like circumcision, what is there? This is a little graphic and uncomfortable, but there's a cutting off that happens when there's a covenant. There's a sacrificial element that says, I will surrender much. I will sacrifice much before I violate my word in this covenant. And so that word, karat, to cut.